Hello my friends, and welcome again in this new class in your professional series, Grammar with Mr. Udait. Now my friends, we are going to continue talking about the passive voice today my friends, and after we have covered the main principle of passive voice, and we said we use generally passive voice in order to represent an object that is more important than the subject, or an object that is known while the subject is not known. So as we said my friends, when the subject, or if the subject of the sentence is not known, unknown, or not important, or unimportant, we tend to use the passive voice. And we talked about the form or the structure of the passive voice. In this case my friends, as you see here, generally in the active sentence or normal English sentence, we start with the subject, the verb, then the object, your subject, verb, and the object. But in the passive voice, we bring the object to the beginning of the sentence, and then after that we use verb to be. And we said that using verb to be should be in accordance with the tense and the object. And always, my friends, in passive voice, always, no matter what the tense is, no matter what the subject or the object are, we use verb 3. Always verb 3 is used in passive voice. Is it past simple, present simple, past continuous, present continuous? And of course, using by and the subject is optional. We have taken some examples in about verb to be. In present, we said that if the sentence is a present simple, we use am, is, are. If the tense was present continuous, we would use am being, is being, or are being. And if it's past present perfect, has been or have been, in order to cover verb to be. Today my friends, we are going to talk about past tenses. Here we have the past simple. As you remember my friends, the principle is the same. All the steps will be the same. We have someone stole my bag. So someone is the subject, stole is the verb, my bag is the object. I bring the object to the beginning of the sentence. I take the subject, I put it after the verb 3, and I add by. And if I don't want to use it, it's okay. If I don't want to say it, I delete it from the sentence. Of course, it is okay. If I want to use it, it's okay also. So we have the object at the beginning of the sentence. We have verb 3 by. Someone is optional. I can leave it and I can keep it. And the rest of the sentence will be laid there. So the problem is in verb to be here, my friends. What should I use as verb to be? What tense is this? Stole is verb to be, verb 2, sorry, the second form of the verb, which is past simple. So what options do I have? I have 3 options for past simple, or 2 options for past simple, was or were. So we use verb to be in accordance with the tense. So in accordance with the tense, I have 2 options, was or were. But the other preference should be in accordance with the object. So my bag takes was or were, takes was. If the sentence was my bags, s, I use were, because we use were for plural and was for singular nouns. Now my friends, we take another example. People spoke a lot of languages like Sumerian thousands of years ago. Here again, what is the subject, my friend? The subject is people. Those are the subject. Spoke is the verb, and it is speak. We have speak, verb 1. Verb 2, spoke. Verb 2, spoke, speak, spoke. So this is past simple. A lot of languages like Sumerians thousands of years ago. Look, the object can be all of this. The object can be all of this, or we can say a lot of languages like Sumerian can be only the object. So I add the object here, put it at the beginning of the sentence. A lot of languages like Sumerian. Then I keep a place for verb to be. Of course, verb will be verb 3 always. If no matter what the tense is, present simple, present continuous, past simple, past continuous, always in passive voice, the verb, the main verb of the sentence will come in the third form. By people is the subject. By people, here people, by people, and this is optional. If I want to keep it, I keep it. If I want to delete it, I delete it. A lot of languages like Sumerian. So what shall I use here? Was or were? In accordance to the tense, I have two options: was or were, because those past simple. But a lot of languages, so we use were. A lot of languages were spoken, of course, like Sumerian, were spoken, because we're not talking here about only Sumerian. I'm talking about languages. Now, my friends, we have the past continuous, as you see. For the past continuous, my friends, we have someone was chasing. How do I know that this tense is past continuous? How? Because I have ing, it's continuous. Was, were, it is past. Because am, for example, I am running, is a present continuous. Why? It is continuous because the verb has ing. It's a present because am is are, present. I have been running, for example, this is a present perfect continuous. So it's continuous because ing, and there is verb to be, and it's a perfect, present perfect because there is have. I had been running, it is past perfect continuous, my friends. Why? Because the had. So here, what do we have options for past continuous, my friends? For present continuous, we have am, is, are, being. Always when we have continuous in passive voice, always we use being. Whether present continuous, past continuous, or future continuous, always there is being. So I have past continuous, was being, or were being. So which one shall I choose now, my friends? Someone was chasing me. Someone was chasing me. So me will become I. Me will become I. Teacher, but this is an object, a pronoun. How can you put it as subject pronoun? Because we cannot use object pronouns at the beginning of the sentence. All object pronouns will be subject pronouns in passive voice when we add them to the beginning of the sentence. So, was chased, verb 3, by someone. So, I say I was being. Teacher, I was isn't enough. No, is not enough because I was alone for past simple. Being past simple, past continuous. Another example here, my friends. The doctor were checking my parents when I came. So the doctors, by the doctors here. My were checking, this is the verb and it's past continuous because were and ing. My parents are the object. So I put them here. So my parents were being, and of course the verb will be in verb 3. Verb 3, but here the verb is regular. You know, when the verb is regular, V2 equals V3, the same. V2 equals the V3, we add ed. And now, my friends, we have this example. They were giving us money when the boss came. So, they were giving us. Us is the object, as you see here. Us is the object. This is the object. The subject is they, subject. And the verb is were giving, as you see here, my friends. So, Here, my friends, I have two objects. This is object number 1, and we have object number 2. This is object number 2. Generally, the object number 2 is called direct object. Direct object. Object number 1, they called it indirect object. So in here, which object shall I choose? I have here two options. I can choose the first object, which is the indirect. I say, we were being given, of course, given here is verb 3, and it's irregular. We were being given money when the boss came, or I use the direct object. I say the money was being given to us when the boss came. Again, I will repeat. They were giving us. Us, we are the object. The money is another object because they do this giving for the money also. So we have object which is called object number 1, or we called it indirect object. And the second one, here the money is called direct object because the money is what receiving the verb directly. So we have here two options. To use the first or indirect object, we were being given the salaries or the money. Here I put the money. It should be the money. It shouldn't be the salaries. The money. Here. The money when the boss came, or I choose this object and I put it at the beginning of the sentence. I say the money was being. Here I used were because here I used being in both cases because it's past continuous in both cases. I used were here because I chose the first object, which is indirect object. And here I chose was when I chose the direct object, the second object. So he, she, it, the money, it, and we needs are or comes with are, and the verb, verb object or subject verb agreement requires using was in this case. Now, my friends, let's go to the past perfect. Teacher, how do you know past perfect? Past perfect had, then verb 3. So this is how I know the verb is past perfect when it contains had, then the verb 3. Had given, for example, I had given him a book. Had, this is had, then verb 3. Here, verb 3, this is regular, ed, and this is irregular in the bottom of the page. Now, someone had disabled the cameras before the thieves attacked. And if you want to know why I used had disabled and I use attacked, there is Mr. Udayt grammar course. I have explained in it in the previous classes the difference between past simple and past perfect, and this would be useful for you. Generally, my friends, in past perfect we have only one option for verb to be. For past perfect we have one option only, which is had been, no matter what the sub or the object was. We use only had been here, had been. Teacher, the cameras had been. If it's one camera, it is had been. For example, if it's present simple, has, we have, or have. Present perfect simple, have. For example, the camera has. The cameras have been, and here disabled. When we use present perfect, we have has or have. It depends on. Has one camera, have many cameras. But for past perfect, my friends, it's always had been. because we have only had number B, case B, the police had disabled the bomb before it exploded. The bomb had been. Teacher, what if I have the bombs? They add bombs here and bombs here. The same, had been in both cases, because generally, my friends, we have only one case, which is had been in the past perfect. Till here, my friends, our class is over. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next class. In the next class, we're going to explain the future cases of passive voice.